Tune in as James Cruz brings you Managed Money. Listen to James offer up his insights on investor behaviour, wealth management and strategies on how to retire right.
Well, today I really want to reflect on a recent case study or some clients where I believe we're able to offer significant value, and that was in restructuring and I guess as a second opinion, because these people for 12 years had used the services of one of the major institutional financial planning firms. Won't say who it was, other than to say that they were certainly one of the main people in the Royal Commission, or at least that licensee. And in my point of view, it's one of the reasons why you wouldn't want to use a one-stop shop financial house. I know in theory it sounds like a great thing where you've only got one office or one company to deal with, whether that's to do with your accounting and tax advice, wealth management, debt and finances. The problem is, depending on that business model, generally there can be significant conflicts of interest. And by that I mean the licensee or the wealth management company are more concerned about their own wealth than those of their client. And so the case in point was a husband and wife professionals. They'd been following the advice. They were being charged $5,000 per annum for advice, which is not criminal as long as there's value for that. And certainly in my opinion, there wasn't. The clients were paying close to $18,000 per annum for personal insurance policies. After we did an analysis and reviewed medical histories and a whole broad range of background details, we're actually able, because we'd taken out the commissions, we could save the clients 25% of the cost. So anytime you access or utilize personal insurance policies like life insurance or income protection, generally 25 to 30% of that cost is commission, which is going to be paid to that servicing advisor. In our firm at Evolution Financial Planning, being an independent firm, we do not charge commissions. We do not pick up any revenue from the sale of products. Yes, we want you to have policies, but one of the big concerns about insurance policies is that they're too expensive. Well, if you shave 25 to 30% off the cost and structure them the right way, they become a lot more affordable. So the clients in point here, we brought their insurances down from $18,000 to $9,000. We actually gave them more cover, and we gave them cover structured to maximise their cash flow. They held significant lines of credit where the licensee received commission trail on the level of debt. And they also they didn't receive, but they had an investment account which was just not meeting their requirements. It just wasn't growing. It was being chewed away at with all of the fees and everything else that was coming out of the account, which is primarily funding the revenue source for the licensee. Each year they were told that everything was fine and there was no need to change anything, even though the clients were concerned that the rising costs were eating into their capital and increasing their debt levels. So another part of our advice was to sell down the investment asset, which was held in their names, and to clear as much debt as possible. If you listen to Scott Pape or have read his book, The Barefoot Investor, if there's one thing that we agree on, it's that more debt does not solve financial problems. So this was the next step in getting them just sort of clearing the decks and making sure that they were able to be in a lot cleaner position with less debt and less fees. In this situation, we found that we're able to help the clients, and we didn't impose an ongoing advice fee, because our view was that if they could just focus on paying off debt, which is not a difficult thing to do, it doesn't need too much advice around that. If they could just focus on paying off that debt, then they would be in a lot stronger position. They would still have suitable levels of personal insurance protection, structured in a better way than they had now, and certainly with their existing superannuation arrangements, they were able to accumulate and continue to build on this to ensure that by the time they retire, they've given themselves every chance of having a comfortable retirement. So I just wanted to showcase, I guess, some of the work that we have done. Obviously, this is not an ideal client. We're not in the position of cleaning up poor advice, but certainly in this situation, trying to highlight that even though you do follow advice, that you may not always be in a better position. Our podcast now, Manage Money, is available on a whole range of different platforms. If you'd like to go and check out Spotify, subscribe to us there. If you come on to Anchor is the main platform that we use, but it's also on another, a whole different range of different podcast platforms. So we certainly appreciate your input. If you can give us a like, certainly that helps with our rankings and trying to build and showcase the level of advice that we provide, giving an insight into how independent advice and wealth management should be. Also, we would love for you to provide us with any questions. If you get onto the Anchor site and you follow Manage Money, you have the opportunity to at least record a question that you might have. I know one of the main questions that people ask, and we'll probably answer that in the next podcast, is how much money do I need in retirement? It's an oldie but a goodie, and we'll focus on that. I don't think you'll be surprised at the answer, but if you've got any questions, if it relates to your personal finances or certainly about retirement, we would love you to be able to provide us with some questions so that we can have a great format and platform to answer any of your tough financial questions, interspersed with our showcase and case studies and any strategy points that we think that may be suitable. So until next time, cheers and all the best, and I look forward to catching up with you all soon.